Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest episode of the Silicon Oasis Spotlight. Today, I've got with me name and company.
Yeah, Mahesh Vinayagam from qBotica.
Let's go. Awesome. So, Mahesh, would love just to dig right in. We met just a week ago?
It's exactly a week ago.
Just a week ago, but you've told me so many things about the Arizona ecosystem, right? The Silicon Oasis that I wasn't even aware of, which I love that you're here today. Thank you so much for making the time, but please dig a little into your background.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jose, for this wonderful opportunity and what you guys are building at Silicon Oasis. I'm so excited for you, and I'm rooting for your success. I think we really need this ecosystem in Phoenix, Arizona. So, I come from India, obviously. I graduated in computer science, and then in year 2000, I moved from India to the UK.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yes, I did.
Whereabouts?
In Brighton.
Okay, I studied in Nottingham, and then I got funnily enough, a master's from KCL.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In banking and finance, right? But sorry, I didn't know, so go ahead.
That's right. That's great.
Brighton,
Yeah,
okay.
Brighton. Yes. So down from where you are. Yes. Brighton Hove. The Seagulls, right? They're doing pretty good, I heard. They weren't when I was there. I think now they're doing great.
Awesome.
So we moved here in 2007. My daughter was born there, and then we had a new house and all that. But I got this opportunity to come to the U.S. And the U.S. always fascinated me. The land of opportunities. Like, okay, this is where I'm going to go, right?
Yes.
I think. So when it came up, I had literally approved everything, right? The new house, small baby and all that stuff. It's like, okay, no, it's okay. We just take that train, move here.
Yeah.
And we did all of that and really came over. I remember like the guy at the immigration asked me, so what are you doing here? I'm moving here. He said, that's a move. Yes. I'm like, that's cool. So the way that he said, that's a big move. So we did that. I'm glad I did it.
I'm glad you're here. That's awesome. That's a extremely set in stone American dream migration story, right? You moved to the land of opportunity. Love it that you're here, Mahesh.
That's right. And then I just had one job. So the job took from India to the UK to the US, right? The same job, right?
Nice.
But it's obviously, different roles. So
Right.
I was leading some parts of the UK. They said, okay, you want to do it in the US? I said, okay, I'll do it here. So all this 20 years in my corporate career, just wanted to work for one company. From an intern to kind of really, managing some $300 million worth of portfolio. So that's kind of what I did there. And yet something was missing. I didn't feel that freedom, the liberation that's needed to be like really, release your potential. I felt like I'm bottled up. And I needed to really come out of this. So at age 40, with like a teenager in the house, and my wife was taking a career break at the time, and I took the bold plunge. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just quit my job and start a company. And I just quit. And for the next 6-7 months, oh my goodness, I didn't have any revenue for a year. So it was a challenging time, but yet, here we are like 8 years hence, and I think we have broken that.
That is awesome. So I want to come back to something you said, because a lot of people, if you're just getting into tech, just getting onto entrepreneurship, I think there's a misconception online where people quit their jobs because they want to be their own boss, which is great, right? The way you've said it, I really liked, which was I didn't quit just because I wanted to be my own boss. I quit because I was bottled up and I knew I could do greater, right? And you had proved that over, right? You said how many,
Years now, it's 8 years now. Yeah.
well, even before, right? You're built up in the corporate job to say, okay, I can perform at a high level in this environment. I want to test that for myself because I feel not just let's see how it goes. It was, I know I can do it.
I think nobody could have better captured that. And this happened in HBS. I went for a course, sales and strategy course, a month, a residential course up in Boston. And during that time, I figured that, I'm just rubbing shoulders with these top CEOs from large companies. And then I'm feeling like, well, I think I belong to a better league. I think I can do better things Probably the job was actually keeping me bottled. So that's kind of where it is. I think you captured it right.
No, yeah, I like that you shared that experience, because we were talking to a community organizer the other day, actually, and he said that startup ecosystems win when people observe what's around them and say, that guy's not smarter than me, or that guy's not more tech, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
And they take the plunge because they say, again, not just because they want to be their own bosses, because they say, we feel we can build something big, amazing. So you've embodied that 100%. And it sounds like it's on a 8-year journey. That sounds stressful. Building a startup, 8 years building a startup sounds pretty stressful. So I'd love to learn what it is that you're building. Why now, right? So you mentioned you didn't have revenue for a year, but a revenue after a year seems pretty, traction whether to keep it going. So that's right. Yeah, would love to hear about that.
Of course. See, what we do here at qBotica is we provide automation as a service. So
Got it.
we help enterprises adopt automation, and we provide the software, the services, all of that that's needed. So I kind of it's not a tech only solution that we have, because if you think about how companies are outsourcing their services, so whether it's finance, accounting, human resources, and sales and marketing, a lot of this they actually outsource to a agency or a company that's either here or offshore, and and there they actually, the humans used to perform that work, right?
Yeah.
So we want to kind of really move that needle to say, okay, let's just have bot source it,
Interesting.
If we have to do the bot sourcing, you can't, move that pendulum all the way from this side to that side when it's a manually led to a completely automation led to the other end. So we had to actually have it somewhere in the middle. So we have to swing it and then we have to move it that way, right? So we are now building a platform upon which customers are actually outsourcing their operations to us.
Yep.
So we are using a combination of a platform, which is qBotica owned platform called DoqumentAI.
Yeah.
And then we actually have our people that are also helping alongside DoqumentAI, and we are delivering that service. So I'm kind of also making sure that DoqumentAI as a platform or technology, I'm still not funded, right? So yeah, so it's a completely bootstrapped so far. I had a friend and family, pitching in now and then, right? So that's kind of how it does. It probably I have $1.5 million of friends and family money. That's all I might have raised over the last 8 years. So we kind of see that once that pendulum starts to shift the other way, that's when we are going to really, take the DoqumentAI platform to the next level, right? And I'm waited for this opportunity that's being presented with GenAI and agentic AI. Yes. If we think about AI agents, that's exactly the vision that I had, right? So where outsourcing can be done to the bots or the AI, 100%.
Yeah.
Right? So that's this is the moment. I think this is the moment. This is where we actually start to pivot to that 100% technology company that we want to be. From right now, 60-70% technology, 30-40% human-led company. Yeah. So we are now, I think we have to start shift that at this point.
In the years that you've been building, have you seen a change in the customer base from when you started to, I guess, the inflection point of November 2022, right? Or 23 of AI?
Correct. I think now, we just this quarter, I'm happy to announce that just this past quarter, we closed 5 clients.
Wow.
Congrats.
Right? Yeah.
And all of them on our platform, right? So, and they are coming to this idea, they're coming to this concept that, okay, I think I can let AI be the master to an extent, right? And they are allowing us to do AI agents implementations, which is agentic AI. That's kind of how we put it up, right? So I think I'm very, very excited.
Yes. That sounds 5 clients. What's been, do you have a comparison? Is that the best quarter you've done?
Yeah, that's the best quarter. So we kind of I think we are running up to, with this, about 48 clients on our roster.
Nice.
So I would say if you go by that, that's about 6 a year on an average, right?
Wow.
So this is an year's average in a quarter.
What has been, amused and excited for you. That's awesome. And I have the question now of what changed to land 5.25? What's been the feedback of, oh, this is why we need qBotica, right? What's been the feedback?
So I think the feedback is the maturity of our team. Obviously, that victory is because of my team. They actually were able to deliver consistent quality, and then the solid enthusiasm that they show.
Yes.
But at work, in public, people are feeling it. I think they're feeling that this is a firm that they want to be associated with. The customers are now like, hey, I want to work with you, rather than I telling the customer, you want to work with me, right? So they are like, yes, I think they are now, and also with Gen AI, I would say it actually made things a lot more simpler. People are now accepting the fact that AI can do a lot of things, right? So I think that is a very important aspect, because the acceptance of AI to be used for normal tasks wasn't there at least 2 years ago, because people thought like AI is it's in the sci-fi movies, they're going to come and take over what's happening in this world and all that stuff. But now they're thinking, oh, it's just an aid or something that makes my life better, and it's a good thing to have. With ChatGPT kind of showing them that, oh, it helps my kid do my homework, it helps me draft that letter instead of me going to that lawyer, right? So I think that, if that can be used then, and these people are actually coming into work and they're looking at their what they're doing in their finance, accounting, and contract management, sales, operations, marketing, and they're like, oh, this seems so dumb. I would rather have a ChatGPT here, and then they now know that agentic AI, what qBotica offers in terms of automation as a service, that is exactly what really helps them get closer to the ChatGPT version for enterprise operations, if you will.
Is there a specific use case that people have just flocked to with qBotica? I don't know, just as tasks, I guess, the most repetitive tasks that they're having the bots do. Have you seen that in your experience, or what's been the?
Yeah, I think currently the most important task is this email responses for quotes and rates, right? So it's a slam dunk, if you will, right? If you think about it, if somebody is like, if you're a business that running I have an email box, people are saying, can you quote me for moving this shipment from this place to that place, during this time or whatever it is. And it's like easy, right? You like humans know this. They're going to just go into a rating system or a coding system, going to put, okay, what's the origin, what's the destination, what's the weight or the dimensions, and then they're going to get a rate out and they're going to send the code out, right?
Yeah.
Yet it was not automated, because they were obviously these were emails, so they are not structured, so they don't ask in a specific format. The subject could be anything, right? It could be a forward from someone, or it could be like it's not really saying, okay, it has to be this specific way that the subject is there. This is the way that the email body should be, and all of that stuff, right? So nobody's going to say that this is the origin, this is the destination. They're going to say, I'm going to move these boxes from here to there, or move the shipment from here to there, or they're going to forward an Excel sheet that contains some information off to you. So it was tough to really automate it, because you really needed AI to do this, because you had to understand a lot of content there. So I think that use case of the like customer service or response to a customer request, I think that has exploded a lot these days, right? So that's the biggest use case that we are seeing right now, and we are kind of really conquering that both with Gen AI based reading the content, as well as using voice based responses. So we use voice companions, right? We call it CX companions, customer experience companions. So that's the second piece. The third piece is in finance and accounting, right? So invoice processing, journal accounting. Like we just did a journal accounting for a very, very large insurance carrier, and it is phenomenal. I think we still have a lot of things to be done for them. We did the first step of automating it, the journal entries. Now we are still seeing that there are some things that we have to go back and ask the humans. And I think with a lot more training, a lot more data points, we could actually have agentic AI kind of really, come in and figure it out. The objective of, okay, this needs to go into the journal entry now. What do I do, right? So kind of really have that train and understand from what humans have really done in the past. Do it there. I think I'm going.
No. I love that you're sharing all of that. Something I repeat over and over on the Silicon Oasis Spotlight is that I love when founders from industries that I have no idea of come, because I get to learn. It's one of my favorite things. When I was a VC, my favorite thing, hands down, was my boss telling me, hey, we have this new electrosys company in battery chemicals that we need to learn about. I need a report in a day. Yeah. And I just learned about battery energy, EV battery waste, like all that stuff. So I love that everyone that's on here shares what they're building and the nuts and bolts about what they're building with so much passion. I love that. That said, have you ever been on a podcast before, Mahesh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're a natural. I can tell. Yeah, you're a natural.
several. Lifeblood here in George Gromaker, I think. Yeah. In Phoenix, it's interesting story. How these podcasts relate to real life. So I go on this podcast. And I don't know him much. And then, he was kind enough to get me on the podcast. And the next day, I'm at a rifle manufacturing or a bullet manufacturing or one of those two company down in Happy Valley, I-17 Happy Valley. And then I go and I talk to that finance person, explain about how qBotica can help automate their accounting and all that stuff. And then by some mention I mentioned about I was in a podcast called Lifeblood. I'm like, oh, that was you yesterday. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow. Look. It's like, I heard you on the radio. I'm like, wow, that is so cool. So I'm like, that's small world. So I think podcasts are always interesting. So you never know who you get. And I love the fact that I'm given the opportunity to express my voice. Yep. And so every opportunity that I get, I truly appreciate. And I think today I'm very grateful to you that you are giving me the voice in this ecosystem as well.
No, I love the energy you bring to it. Again, seem like a natural. And it's funny because, especially in tech, right? The world is so small, I would say. It's so small. And the crazy part, even with it being small, we still have underserved markets, overlooked founders, and unappreciated solutions in technology, right? I'm going to remember those three. I just came up with those, and they're going to be a tagline for a social post later on. But no, yeah, I love the nuts and bolts about what you're sharing. Given that you had a head start on this Gen AI, let's call it, correct me if I'm wrong there, but on this automation of bots, what's coming, in your opinion, that people aren't realizing about AI helpers?
See, I think what's coming is that the AI helpers are really transform how enterprises are serving you, right? Mm-hmm. So now there's a lot of inefficiencies that are brought in. It's not even the corporations aren't even liking it, okay? Mm-hmm. But it is there because you do not have the infrastructure, the opportunity to make it better. For example, like you are in a delayed flight scenario. You try to get to the customer service, or you're kind of really looking at going to that customer service desk, and there's this 100 people, standing in line. You go call them. They have a pretty busy day, so they kept on waiting for 2-3 hours. I think airlines don't intend to keep you waiting. That's not their intention, if you think about it, frankly. Yes. They are doing that because, in terms of how much they can actually afford from their margins in putting those customer service desks, or putting that person behind that call, and having that infrastructure for them, having that, whatever the systems that's in place, that, contact center systems and all that stuff in place, the licenses, all that stuff, if you think about it, and train them and put them on the job to help you, it is make things difficult. But as I said, that's not the intention. Right. The intention is, if 1,000 people at the same time ask information in a same airport, they want to go away from there. If there is a way that they can actually kind of put them on a different flight, or make arrangements for them, or give them a refund, whatever it's needed, it could be done. I think AI agents is going to bring that in, and there are many, many scenarios like that if you think about it, right? So you
More use cases, right?
newer use cases, right? So they try to move it from the US to India to Philippines. Yet, I think there's all these people are not really empowered to do a lot of things because there's only trained so much, and they cannot obviously train to do many things
Right.
as well yet, right? So, but with agents, the ability to kind of really, AI agents particularly, right? With AI, when it's given the objective that we want to solve that customer problem, that's the objective. The objective is not like, am I following these steps to, and I'm following this rule and this process. Okay. The step is, can we, they are on a delayed flight. The objective is reroute them or, reschedule them.
Yeah.
That's the two objectives on that day, right?
Yeah.
Refund, right? Reschedule, refund, or reroute. That's what is needed. So if with an AI, it can come up with 20, 30, or 40, or even 100 combinations instantly. It can actually spawn to many. It can ask many agents, many AI agents across the board, AI bots, ask it to kind of right now from Phoenix, how many flights are available, how many seats are available in there towards that direction. Or you could say how many hotels are available around this airport right now, so we can actually book a room for these guys.
Right.
Or look at moving them to a flight tomorrow, right? And all that stuff. If you think about it, it can do all these things at once. It doesn't have to do one way. But if you put a human in there, the human is going to look at, okay, if I have to find a flight, he has to sit there and research, do some search, go onto the systems. You need to have this ability to know how quickly to traverse it. Then you have to shift, okay, now it's not available. Now I'm going to do hotels first. Then I'm going to look at the flights next, or like the other way around, like look at the flights based on the flight is tomorrow or day after. Should I have to give them a hotel where they are currently residing, blah, blah, blah. So all this can be done at once, right? So that is a phenomenal change, and that's going to change the future for us. I think we would not be, I think our kids now, they don't know how to use a telephone with like a dialing telephones. Similarly, or they never write checks. And I think when our grandkids, they would never think about waiting on a switchboard.
Right.
They are never going to say option 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again sub option A, B, C, D. I don't think they will be pressing that. They will be just calling a AI and telling them, I want to do this, and it's going to kind of really get to that answer instantly. I think that's the transformation that agentic AI or AI agents are going to give us.
So you just heard it here, folks. Mahesh has had an 8 start on AI bots, essentially. And he's just shared with us what he truly believes is going to be the future of. Honestly, Mahesh, it was probably obvious to say hospitality was one of the sectors that can be improved so much by it. Correct. Never crossed my mind, though, right? Again, that's why, love having you on and being able to share these perspectives, because a lot of the things that seem obvious, overlooked a lot of the times.
Yeah, and another thing, like my pet peeve is like I go to a hotel and then I sit there and try to check in, and she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think everyone asks that. It should be as simple as guest here, check in, confirm. I assume.
Exactly. I really don't know what's going on behind it. I think that she's trying to, obviously entering a lot of information, putting that into another system. So they're porting that from the central reservation system to the localized system. They're only transferring at that point, probably. I'm just assuming. And then kind of really making sure that the room is allocated and blah, 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 and all that stuff, right? So this could be just, you could just be walk into your room, right? Just... Yeah, that should be the future.
There's actually a hotel chain. I'll give them a shout out. Don't know if I'm allowed, but they're called Sonder Stays. Okay. And it's basically Airbnbs, but it's apartments. Uh-huh. And they're not like leased out to people. It's literally only apartments around the world. Mexico City were some of my favorite locations, and we're actually going to go stay in Mexico City this summer. But you have an app, and you tell them when you're going, how long you want the apartment, right? It's like high rises for pretty inexpensive prices. And You just walk into the hotel, let security know that you exist. And then you just go to your room because everything lands to you the morning of. Like when, let's say check-in is at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., you get your info to log into your room key, the security code. You get basically everything in your app.
That's nice.
And it's been, to me, a very pleasant experience. And I wish more were like that. But it sounds now that AI, Gen AI, can help just, speed up the timeline.
Exactly, that's right. And I know I love to go to Mexico City, so I
Nice.
probably check it out and
There we go.
there.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So how are we doing on time? How are you feeling?
It's about 20, 25 actually.
25. You're feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, let's just go.
Let's keep it rolling.
Just
Nice.
keep it rolling.
So thank you so much, Mahesh, for all your thoughts you've shared so far. Now,
Yes.
I am curious, right?
Yes.
You've been in Arizona since, you mentioned 2007, was it?
Yes, right.
Nice.
That's right.
What brought you to Arizona specifically? And why are you building your startup here?
Yeah, and like I said, and I moved. My job brought me here. I actually worked for a company that outsourced with American Express, so who have a very large campus here. So I came here for that. But why am I building here? Great question. It's like, why did I even choose to do that? All right, okay.
Yep.
Well, obviously, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and then when I made that shift, like I talked about, and there's a lot of risk that I took. So because I'm taking so much risk and putting the family into so much stress in, kind of really, from a financial perspective, and as well as if things will get right. So I'm going to be putting that so much stress on them. I didn't want to give them the additional stress of a move. While I wish I moved to somewhere else where there was quick access to capital, better technology, talent available.
Yeah, I was
right.
gonna say that.
And then the know-how at that time, 8 years ago, Silicon Oasis didn't exist, or many such. I'm a great proponent of Startup AZ. All these weren't really known or available to me at the time. So I'm like, at the time, I should have actually moved to Bangalore or the Silicon Valley, or
Yeah.
Austin, or even Atlanta was actually getting good. But yet, I didn't want to uproot my family and kind of really cause so much stress to them. So I thought, okay, let me try it here,
nice.
and
Yeah.
that's why I stayed and built it here.
Right. Well, we appreciate you staying. I know it's not easy, right? I've transparently told a lot of founders who are on a hyper growth trajectory, if you're serious about building, you want to make this your life and you want to have the best shot, get out of here. But I think there are those who can also build here, and they can do it extremely, extremely well. And I always love showing off the startup I'm a part of, which, again, just paraded around the valley. They showed their product. They showed how cool it could be and is. We were largely ignored, but the founders, they dug their heels in and said, it doesn't matter if we're not wanted here. We're still going to build here. We love Arizona. This is home. And people are going to come to us. And they did. The investors from New York, San Francisco, they're still coming to us. We're in a very privileged position to be in that scenario, but also obviously props to the founders who have built the company in such a structure which allows us to build here, be wanted here, and still just, continue rolling it.
Exactly. I think, yes, we could actually succeed where we are, or kind of try to make a difference. Right. Yes. So, I obviously stayed for personal reasons, obviously from a family standpoint. And then I decided that if I'm here, I am finding it so difficult to build it here. Then what do I need to do to help it better? Right. So obviously I'm part of many of these ecosystem, whether it's SeedSpot, Startup Easy, and then I was just thinking, we need to do a little bit better in terms of looking at it from a ground up standpoint. Right. So I actually involved myself in FBLA clubs, right? Okay. So I came there as a judge, a volunteer. Been now with them like over 5-6 years now, even before COVID, right? So it started off when it was in-person events, and then moved to virtual events, and then still now like kind of hybrid. And I'm now one of the board trustees of AZFBLA, right?
Okay.
And what we really do there is I help ensure that technology is adopted, and I'm kind of one of the few judges. I might use actually a little plug for them because they're a nonprofit that, I think I want a lot of technology founders and technologists like programmers and developers to be part of that as volunteer as judges there, because it's a huge club, like 200,000 students are part of it, nationwide. But when it comes to programming, we really, if I could not make that judging event that day, they're substituted by an English teacher, and
Right.
and I'm sure like they are doing their best to kind of evaluate the student, but it's not the right thing. It's not doing the justice for that kid, right? So
Yes.
we want to give them that right feedback. So I think we need to be working at the grassroots level to ensure that technology is well rationalized and made it simplified across our kids. I think these are the generations that are going to understand,
Yes.
learn, and build it here. So I think I'm working with them, and I'm also working with the ASU as part
Okay.
of the technology and entrepreneurship management. So
Cool.
so
Didn't
I'm
know
so
that.
so amazing that they actually also took me onto their industry advisory board. So kudos to Dr. Sherman and many of the folks out there, and and I think and I'm also part of like the volunteer hour stuff annually. I think the next month I'm going to be at a local school at Stetson's Hill Elementary, talking about AI to the third graders, fourth graders. I think that's favorite part of my year. So when I'm actually there for the day and kind of really talk about AI to these kids, and I think that's important. I think we need to really do this from grassroots
Yes.
level, from schools to colleges. And once we do that, I'm sure we could make this as successful. And come on, let's give a hard run for San Jose and Houston and Atlanta, right? Right.
I love that you said that, Mahesh. Well, first of all, it sounds like I just found 5 podcast guests that need to come on to the Silicon Oasis, right? Someone from ASU, BLA, I don't know if it's the CEO or who would be the best around here, but that's what we try to say we do and show it through action. I love that someone asked me a couple of episodes ago, why is it called the Silicon Oasis? And this is about the third time I'm mentioning it, but for new listeners, I'd like them all to know that everyone does New York. You do San Francisco. We don't want you to do Arizona. We want you to come here, plant your roots, build something amazing, and make it the oasis it deserves and continues to be, right? I have 2 kids myself, right? A 3-month-old. He turned 3 months today. Thank you so much. And I love Arizona. I also agree 100% that it needs to start from the grade school level. I was at the AIVN, and Bill Swartz is actually one of our ecosystem ambassadors. Shout out, Bill, for a great event on Thursday. And high school students were presenting. Loved that. I thought that was amazing. So I'm going to interview some high school students for our podcast. And that's the whole point of the Silicon Oasis, right? Like, we're not here to compete, to push out. If you're building something great in tech, if you're a community builder, if you've already got a club, come on our podcast. Like, we want to give you the attention that no one else is giving you, right? So that's awesome that you share that, and we like to believe that we're the rug. Everyone says the umbrella. No, we're the rug that supports all of these other organizations as we, like you said, try to make Arizona better than Utah, better than Southern California. We really think we can.
Yes, of course. I think we have like no. I think the government, the leaders here has done a fantastic job, right? Shout out to the mayor and the governor. Trying to really attract companies like TSMC and the whole ecosystem here. I think Arizona being the advanced manufacturing hub is fantastic. I think that really sets the
Good political move.
Exactly. That's a great move. Lots of, the economy, obviously, the local economy gets better. And I think with that, I think technology or the software side, I'm biased towards that. And I think once we get onto that bandwagon, it's kind of holistic. Like put it very simply, the hardware with the software. Like, why don't you just do that, right? So I think we are destined for it. I think together we can make this happen.
And that's why we're so excited. We have so many elements that point to us being an amazing tech hub, and it just hasn't been there. So let's just keep pushing. We think it can happen soonish, right? That's our ambition.
Exactly. Have the action bias. I think that's important, right? And it's not about giving saying something or writing about something. I think also doing something about it.
No, we don't need 10 different manifestos saying we just hit the ground, right? I like to say that my 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., I am first and foremost a tech builder. Love building the startup. It's my favorite thing. But my 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. is Silicon Oasis. If we want to make a difference, you need to someone needs to sacrifice time every single day to make sure this ecosystem grows. And we're just excited to be supporting it. So Mahesh, I know we're coming up on time here, right? But last thoughts. Is there something final that you want listeners, viewers to know about either, qBotica, about the ecosystem? Mike is all yours.
Well, yeah, I think it's phenomenal. First, thank you for what you're doing here. That's 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. and you're dedicating to building this ecosystem. I'm so glad I'm here, and you can count on me, to help you. And obviously, we have several networks, and I called out a few. And there's, I'm now part of TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs, Phoenix, and I think some of them are actually part of the event last week. And I'm also part of like a group called Tamil Tech Entrepreneur Council. So I speak language Tamil. So we are actually having Tamil founders kind of really come together, because obviously, it's very interesting to talk in our own language.
Would love to co-host an event with, but I'll let you keep talking. I'm so sorry.
That's right. Of course. Yeah, I'd love to take you up on it, because we will, we'll do it this fall or this winter, right? So I think there's many ecosystems out there. So I'm so glad that you are actually putting this time. Let's do this. Right? I think let's do this for Arizona, and I'm so excited. Okay, and from my viewpoint, I think as a firm like qBotica is like built in Arizona, we are incorporated in Arizona as well. I know that there are it's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to incorporate in Delaware and in Nevada, all that stuff, and I'm like, I frankly do not understand a lot of that. I'm not a very sophisticated financial person or a tax person, whether it's right or wrong. I'm like, if I'm here, for that long, like, probably 10 years at the time when I started the firm, I've actually, I'm here. I'm called this a home now, right? Yeah. And so if this is my home, why would I register anywhere else?
Yeah, you're talking the talk and walking the walk, right? Just putting your money where your mouth is. That's great.
That's right. And like, if I'm going to lose a buck in tax, why not lose it to my own state, for my own, community here, right? That's okay. So I actually made that investment to be here, and obviously trying to, bring as many people, as we can here, or kind of hire as many people here. And I think, from my point of view, this state is right now ripe for innovation and disruption. But we need a lot more leaders like you to kind of really step up. And I'm so glad that, like you were born and raised here, and then you actually moved out and then came back here and building it. So that's so nice. So that's important. And the second thing that I would like to kind of really call out to people is, I was just like, let me just, do a quote, right? I think this week I was just binge watching 0 Day. Whatever. I don't know whether you watched that series on Netflix. With Robert De Niro did a fantastic portrayal of an ex-president, and fantastic. All right, and then at the last episode, toward the climax, I think
spoilers?
Spoilers.
Spoiler?
It's not a spoiler. Okay. But okay, not a spoiler. But then who is actually the current president on that show says that, okay, she says, okay, you had once said that, the best way to govern is to leave things as it is, and not to expect to how you wish it was.
Yes.
I think that is, and then yet the guy goes and does something, phenomenally different, right? And I think that is important. This is not like, okay, keep it as it is scenario. Like, we all have to see, when we are looking at things, we need to kind of, look at it from as we wish it was, and try to make one thing. You don't have to obviously disrupt the whole thing.
I think you're the first one. I could be wrong here. Tell me if I'm wrong, and please call me out. I'm getting the message of Arizona. We've done things a certain way.
Yes,
Great. Congratulations. We're grateful. It needs to change to hypergrow.
exactly. And we all have to do one thing. But it just has to
Loved that. That everyone is a part.
everyone, if they
It's
did
not
one thing.
just one organization, not just the government. That's what we've been trying to say. Where it's like, look, the more the merrier.
Exactly.
Come on to our spotlight and let us shine you on for it. Love that.
Don't leave it as it is and let it be, right?
Yeah.
Let if you think that you wish that it has to be in a certain manner, let's move that one step. Let's move that one coin forward.
Yeah.
And I think, and I know, like, I love analogy of chess. I know that when we make these progresses, that there are certain times that certain moves are not going to work, and that's okay. Yet we need to make progress over perfection, and that's important. And leaving things as is never progress. It's regress. And I think we just all have to make one step forward and move, and I think it'll be phenomenal for all of us.
Where can people find you, Mahesh, online? Is it LinkedIn, website? Please plug.
Brilliant. I think, I'm big LinkedIn. I'm very big on LinkedIn. Love the platform. So on LinkedIn, Mahesh Vinayagam, and online qBotica.com. So that's where we do. And I'm building something important as well. So I'm going to actually mention that in the last couple of minutes. We just launched a predictions exchange called Just Predict, without the T in just. So JUS Predict. Just Predict. It's an app, right? So actually to download the app and try it out if you can. Yeah.
Exciting. So thank you so much, Mahesh, for coming on to our Silicon Oasis Spotlight. I never say goodbye because I love keeping close with founders here in the Arizona Valley. So I just say, hey, we'll talk soon.
Until next time. Yes, that's right.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.